Welcome in once again, SVPod. Scott Van Pelt here in Augusta National Golf Club. Stanford Steve, parts unknown. No Red, don't know where Red is. Probably wondering, where has my family gone? Let's start with the family, Steve. I've lost the house.
Yeah,
the house.
You're done.
I've lost
You
the house.
got no chance.
It's over. It's all over. There was a chance that it could be a Terp household. There's a lot of Terrapin propaganda and memorabilia in the household. But what has happened over the course of these last 2 weeks, I'm pretty sure it's great to be a Florida Gator. The last thing my littlest said to my wife before I believe he passed out on the Riverwalk last night waiting for the team to come by in a boat was, it really is great to be a Florida Gator.
Oh, man.
It's like a samurai sword to just rip the guts out. But you know what? Congrats to the Florida Gators. An incredible 3 games from 4 tremendous teams. There's a lot to unpack here.
Mm-hmm.
Where do we begin, Steve, in this recounting of how the Florida Gators won the national championship?
You got to go to the second half last night. What they showed, because I think, they were as close to any of these 4 teams of not making it to San Antonio. When you go back and look at what they did in the Texas Tech game. And again, I started last week with who do you think of? And I said Texas Tech. And, man, I'm sitting there again thinking about the Red Raiders. But, no, just what Florida showed because, I thought Kelvin was great in the first half in his timeout interview where he just said, it's nerves, man. There's a title on the game. He
said, we'll settle down.
He dropped a Sasquatch state that I had not been familiar with. But he said, it was nuts, man. Like straight bricks, not even hitting the rim. And it was both sides. Like Cryer didn't start great. Sharp didn't start great. And obviously all the focus was Clayton. But I go back to Richard and the threes that he made. And just like Saturday night with the threes that Houston made at the end of the first half, that really, really helped him. When you're not getting buckets, but you're getting threes at least to hang around and keep it under single digits, I thought that was huge for Florida. I thought Florida's bigs, as much as I think the last time I went on social media was Saturday at halftime of Florida-Auburn, and people were just eviscerating Florida's bigs for how they looked and Broom taking it to them, and I'm like, it's a long game, man. Like, these guys know each other. They've played against them. But I just thought in totality, Florida's bigs, getting a sense of how physical it was going to be. The whistle was all over the place all weekend, but both teams persevered down the stretch. But you saw that stretch where Florida had to have it. And I thought Aberdeen was great in his role. Martin came up and hit a huge 3 again. And, Condon's not going to get a lot of points. People make fun of him because he's looking to pass all the time. But, hey, go back and look at that tape, man. My man battled.
He did, but there are a couple of times, Steve, like late, where I couldn't believe he passed on shots. And I get it. The length of Houston at the rim has got to be horrifying. And you're going to get him kicked.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to block you.
Yeah.
But there were a couple of times where I'm just thinking, and I understand why he doesn't attack the rim because he's not a good free throw shooter.
Mm-hmm.
But there were a couple of times where I just was astounded that he passed out of it. But I am with you. He battled, but so did Florida. And look, everyone's going to talk about the Texas Tech game. You're down 9, 2:51 to go.
Auburn.
Well, go back 2 weekends ago. UConn could have beat them.
Oh, yeah.
They had to dig deep against a 2-time reigning champion.
Mm-hmm.
And their ability, it's a cliche that we often mention on this show for a reason. Their ability to stay in the fight is why they won the fight. Down 12 against Houston feels like you're down 100 against someone else because it's such a battle. But I was on with Ryan this morning. Great to catch up with Russillo. Check out his podcast. He's trying his best in the podcast space. So you just want to give him a listen if you can find the time in your heart. He's got boats and condos. He's doing great. Holmes, excuse me. But the point I made with him is that for all of the conversation about the toughness, the defense, and the rebounding of Houston, Florida won that game because they were tough, they played defense, and they rebounded. They out-rebounded Houston, first team in the tournament to do that. Mm-hmm. And the defense they played made it so suffocating for Houston to run anything in the last, I don't know how long, but they turned it over, Steve, the last 3 possessions. Yeah. Did not get a shot in the air.
Yep.
It was Cryer once, it was Sharp twice. And it's like, I feel so bad for Kelvin and his team because he's such a great guy, and he's dudes, he's got them. Juwan Roberts, 6-year guy. I'm sure we'll get to the Duke game. Like, he had the line about what happened late against Duke. He said, we trusted our grown-up against their teenager. And he wasn't being disrespectful. Like, we always mention they got grown men. The line I've used forever about Houston, when the whistle blows for Adult Swim, they don't have to get out of the pool. All men. Florida played like men as well. And that's why they won that game, because they were every bit as tough as Houston. And they had to be, because it was not a game that was going to be won gracefully. And at the end, I did not believe, Steve, they could win a 60-something to 60-something game. I did not think that was the game script for them to win. So for them to get it that way, to me, was a huge, huge magnifier of the accomplishment.
No doubt. No doubt. I like I said, it's everybody, I think, has their feelings about Houston and how much they respect them. But you gotta stay in the fight, as you said, and go do it. I also thought Golden did a great job when they really needed stuff. Mm-hmm. I think they were 4 for 4 out of timeouts with that horn set where they had different versions. Then they run the double screen to finally get Clayton an open look where they're down 3 and we're getting down to it.
That was his first 3 of the game, Steve. His first bucket of the game came with 8 to go. It was an and one that tied the game. His first 3 of the game came with 3 minutes to go. It tied the game.
Yep, and you could see he was totally rattled off the start, because it wasn't even, he took a couple bad ones, but other than that, he couldn't even get one. And
and then he stopped looking for him. Yeah. Then he stopped looking for him, and that's what had me shook as just watching it. Like, wow, to see a guy that ran backwards to shoot a 1-foot 3 against Texas Tech, like an all-time legendary shot, to be just like, and maybe it's the next step as a player where you're like, look, we got other guys that can get them. And I'm not seeing it and I'm not feeling it. He just didn't seem to be looking for it for quite a while. But I guess I understand why, just the way Houston plays defense.
And the way he stayed in it, though. He played great defense, which people have picked apart all season about whether he's a player at the next level, which I find nuts. But he also, I believe, when he made his first basket, had 8 or 9 assists. So he was involved. He obviously still had the ball in his hand, but yeah, I really thought the depth of Florida showed up because they were able to go to guys. Richard does it. Then they make a move with Houck and Aberdeen out there. So I just a collective team effort of really looking yourself in the mirror, down 42-30 and then 45-34 was truly, truly impressive. And all the credit goes to them because, was it Houston hadn't lost the game in 2025, or maybe if they did, it was January 8th or something like that?
No, they hadn't lost since December, I don't believe.
So, I'm pretty sure it was that Texas Tech game.
I could be wrong.
Where the coach got thrown out.
Right,
but anyway,
right. One loss.
It was plenty of teams have wilted under that thing recently and during this whole stretch for Houston. And it was I don't know what else to say. Houston answered every single bell. They was it double digits or 9? There was 3 double-digit second-half deficits they faced in this run.
Florida?
Yeah. So it was really, really impressive to watch. I thought their defense on the last possession really because, they didn't get going with because the ball goes on the floor and I just hear Iron Eagle say 2-1. I'm like, oh, my God, they're not even going to get it off.
They didn't. And the reason they didn't get the shot off is it took them forever to get anything going. Mm-hmm. But that was the last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
They didn't they turned the ball over the last 3 times they had it. Their last 4 possessions were an offensive foul and an offensive rebound, and then 3 straight turnovers in the last minute and a half. And it's Clayton closing at warp speed on Sharp. Sharp thinks he can rise up, which is why he came off the ground, and that was Clayton that challenged that shot.
Yeah.
And that's why he ended up in the air. And I'm crushed for Sharp because, I mean, you think about those moments and, you know, Chris Jenkins is a forever player. Archie Diacono flips it to him. He pulls it. Jay Wright says bang, and confetti falls. And that was a moment that could have been, because they're going for the 3 and the win. And the ball never gets on the rim. Like, for a team that offensive rebounds like them, like if they miss, it's going to be a tip dunk from somebody. That's just what it feels like with them. And I mean, hell, even Cryer got a tip on a rebound for a bucket late.
Yeah.
And that was maybe their last bucket in the game. I could be inventing things at this point. I got a million different notes. I just want to say it because it sucked. 4 fouls in the first half and both teams in the double bonus with 12 to go in the second. Like, what are we doing? If you're going to let guys play and brawl, then let them go. And then the second half, all of a sudden, it's like you decided, nope. It's like changing like the language on the setting that you're listening to a broadcast in. Like, what completely different set of circumstances in that second half. Florida was in the bonus with Houston was in the bonus, I beg your pardon, with 14 minutes to go. Yeah. And then Houston had 3 fouls called on him in 9 seconds. And then on an and one, Florida's in the bonus with 12 minutes to go. So then that makes the game doesn't have a ton of rhythm. But it was a brawl. It was incredibly physical, I should say. And you hit the nail on the head. The depth of the front court for Florida allowed them to keep cycling in the bigs, which is what you have to have against a team full of adults. And I don't know, man. Poor Kelvin, God bless it. He's such a great coach. And they've been so close. And Shed got hurt last year, which cost him a chance. And I'm at Augusta, and I've talked forever about when you have a chance, you better win. Because the odds of you getting to that place on Sunday late with the sun going down with a chance to win, you get a finite number, and you might not get another one. And I hurt for them and particularly for him, because maybe you get another one, but maybe this was it. And if it is, then you got to live with how it ended. That's a rough one.
Yeah, it's the opportunity, right? You get an opportunity, you got to seize it, and I mean, that close. And you know, I was wondering about the game all day because I actually thought Florida was going to be again a 4 or 5 point favorite, and then you see the line, it was 1. I'm like, wow. And I start thinking, I'm like, Houston's going to control this. They're going to control it. They have the guards to throw at Clayton. He's not going to get 30 again. There's no way.
He did not.
So I was on the under, and when that foul sequence happens, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And I'm saying the same thing. 4 in the first half, and then 4 in 9 seconds. I really thought the refs blew it on the foul called on Richard, where there's just a brush by with a screen and he's trailing, and there's a collision, and I think it was big guy that went down, and then they blow the tee on Florida's bench, where I'm like, you got to be kidding me here.
It's funny. I'm watching with North and Darlington, and Golden's going bananas, and he is a foul-mouthed young man.
Oh, yeah.
He MFs, and I mean, he is cursing his face off, and I'm like, he's getting a tee soon. And then seconds later, it was a tee. It wasn't on him. It was on the bench. He wasn't wrong to be riding him. Like, no. I agreed with. I thought he was right.
You want it both ways? That's fine.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, like, look, you can't. This is the most physical team in the tournament right down here, and we're in the bonus. It was like 5, or they're in the bonus, I should say. It was like 5 fouls to none, like 4 minutes in. I just didn't love that. And that's a good crew. I like that crew. I just don't think they had a great second half. But the Final Four was 4 excellent teams. Auburn will get lost in the shuffle because of what happened in the Duke-Houston game. People will forget the regular season they had. They shouldn't. Bruce Pearl's team was awesome. 16 wins against quad ones. And I get that how that metric can – what does that even mean? It means they beat a shit ton of good teams is what it means, because they were excellent. And they were excellent in that game against Florida. But Florida was an incredibly resilient group. And, I mean, that final didn't hold any sort of semblance to how the game played. Like, they ended up winning, they won by 6? Is that what it was?
Yeah, right around there.
I can't remember. But, it was, it felt like a coin flip game. And I just want to sprinkle this in. Like, literally, I think I told the story last week that before the tournament even started, my wife got a hotel room in San Antonio, and then they went with the kids. And before they went, I told my middle son, and I'm guilty of doing this way too much. I mean, he's a 9-year-old, and I'm giving him like this heavy thing about, look, man, you got to understand. I've been rooting for Maryland 50 years. They went twice in my whole life. They may never go again. But when they went, I went. And I'll never forget how great it was when I saw my team win. And like, you're only 9, but you gotta be present and really enjoy this. Like, this is an incredible thing you're going to get to do. I had no idea that he was going to go see him have this incredible comeback against Auburn and then win this insane heart-stopping thing against Houston. And I'm just so psyched for them with their mom, who's a Florida grad, as is that whole side of the family. I'm just so psyched that they did it. And it's all because mom said before the tournament started, we're going if they go. I got the room. And the folks from Florida, my gratitude forever for allowing us to buy the tickets so they could sit in the Florida section. And they've got a life memory forever. I mean, the videos of my kiddos in that joint, it was really, really awesome that they got to experience it with their mom, who's the Gator. I would have just been like a human appendix. I would have just been there. Would have been cool to see, but I wouldn't have felt it the way their mom did,
Would you have worn a Florida shirt?
Sure.
Okay. Just one.
Come on.
Yeah,
sure. Sure. I mean, it. When Steph goes to Maryland games, she wears Maryland gear. I mean, you rep the squad you're with, man. But I was happy for them, obviously. But that could be the top of the mountain for their fandom. I mean, as young kids, and certainly it could happen again. But there's no guarantees with any of this. Mm-hmm. Like, it's hard to win. It's hard as hell to win 6 games in a row. That's why I say it every year.
That's my point.
It's really hard to win 6 games in a row. And that team could have lost to UConn, could have lost to Texas Tech, could have lost to Auburn, could have lost to Houston. Didn't. That's how you win a championship. You stay in the friggin' fight and don't blink. And they didn't. And it's just so cool that the fam got to see it. And I mean, that there's another piece to this that I just want to share, just to say it, and it's hard for me too, because I'll get emotional. My dad's sister, my aunt Ann, lives in San Antonio, and they don't see she and her husband John don't get to see my kids a great deal, but they did, and I got pictures of my kids with them, and she looks like my dad. And so to see the only blood that there is of that family outside of me is her. And so to see my kids with my dad's sister was really special. And it was special for them. They had a good time as well. But it's just interesting, man. You push back and you look at the way things work sometimes, I feel like there's a wink from beyond or something. I don't know. But they got to see the title, and they also got to see their aunt, and that was awesome too. And I'll send a picture just so we could put it with this if they want to send something out. The little guy asleep on the Riverwalk at 12:45 last night, waiting for the team. Like, my wife just said he left it all on the field, and like he damn sure did. But what a field to leave it on. Like if you go to that one, don't go to another one.
No,
because that's.
I don't think the boys are going to say that though. Daddy, when we went last time they won, so you got to go to the Masters, but Mommy could take us.
And I don't want to put any heavy burden on Maryland, but it's on you, y'all.
Yeah,
it's on you. We're gonna need to respond if we want to get the house back, and I think it may be a lost cause at this point. It's like recruiting, right? It's like a recruiting visit, and they set the swag, and then they went out and did that.
Yeah,
we'll see what we can do. The tournament will be remembered for the Gators beating Houston, but I think the game of the tournament that'll be remembered, and this is rare, it's not the team that won the title, but how Houston beat Duke. I don't know what to say about the Duke piece of it. They were awesome, and they just kind of melted in the last 10 minutes. They could make a field goal. I get it, but really, Houston did what they do. They turned the heat up in a way where the Kelvin line was amazing. We trusted our grown-up on their teenager. That's the last play. And that's not being disrespectful. It's just the truth. Jawan's a man. He's a 6-year guy. And he botted him up and played defense. And you're a Duke guy. Mm-hmm. You're consuming it in a completely different way. As you're watching it happen, what are you thinking?
Well, going into the game and all week, I don't think we talked since Tuesday or Wednesday. And I just kept getting this feel like people were just putting Duke on a pedestal. And all I could think of, Scott, was 2005 in the USC-Texas football game. Like, ESPN ran a thing about USC's the greatest team of all time. I'm like, they haven't even played the national title yet.
They did.
And this team has...
We did, actually.
Yeah. And I watched USC. I mean, USC was a team to watch, and they were flawed. They were flawed, and Texas had the things to take advantage of them. And what happens? Texas wins it. And with that, I'm just like, Duke hasn't played another 1 seed in this tournament, and there's 3 others. Now, if they get going, they'll play 2. But I just kept thinking, I'm thinking of Houston, and I said last week, I'm like, Houston has the goods to do it because they can physically affect them, and they could stay in the game in its totality. But in a bigger picture, I can't help but think of all these metrics and all these numbers and number 1 and 2 and Ken Pom and everything. And I can't do it anymore. I can't hear an analyst talk about a team without referencing those things. And I'm like, just let the teams play.
Right.
See, let the teams play, and it'll figure it out. And I'm a Duke fan. I watch them. They don't have great ball handling. They've gotten by with Sion came on when they made the move off for Proctor, and no one, I think they go back and you look at whatever quad 1 teams. I think all their losses are to quad 1 teams. So they've beaten some, and I think they're over 500. But I think Houston was 10-3, and so I'm thinking of that the whole time going in, and I'm like, Houston's going to get this thing to the end, and exactly what Coach K talked about when they played UNLV in '91. Get in a close game. We've played a bunch of them. They haven't. And that's exactly what happened.
Yep.
Houston made the plays. You saw uncomfortable. James was taking the ball out of bounds. They had their issues with the out-of-bounds plays. And then free throws, man. You go back. You're up 6. Knipple has a layup. He does his half pump fake, lays it up. It gets blocked. Goes down, get a bucket, and then free throws. Free throws missed free throws, I should say, are the crux of everything, man. I don't care what you go back to, any comeback, last-second shot, it's almost always off of free throws, and that's a dictator in a comeback. When you're missing front ends, we just saw it with Florida and Texas Tech, you're just asking for trouble. And
you got to make your fouls.
That's it. And, everything was self-inflicted. And,
Well, hold on. self-inflicted, but yes, but only because the pressure was so suffocating from the Houston side. Like that was what I saw. I just saw that Houston was going to bully them and make fouls be called. We're gonna absolutely pressure you and see if you crack. And once it's like a boxer, once you're wobbly and you're on the ropes, then we're throwing haymakers. And Houston certainly did. I can't remember who had the ball before Proctor got it there late, but I want to say it was Knipple had the ball in his hands and he passed to Proctor. And Proctor's not a terrible free throw shooter, but he was the worst free throw shooter they had on the floor at that point. And I mean, going backwards, they got the steal and then the missed three and a tip dunk because Houston leads the world in tip dunks, it seems. And they're just absolutely relentless on the offensive glass, and they're relentless with the pressure. And Proctor misses, and now the flag foul, I want to stop it right there because it wasn't a foul, in my opinion. Wasn't a foul. That said, Cryer got the ball. And I'm curious what you think of this. That everyone has like their analytics department, and I don't love this because you're just going to give me a printout that says, if they do this, it's a 96% chance of winning. You're going to show your work, or you're just putting a number? Yeah. Like, explain to me how you arrive at that conclusion, because we recite these. I don't, because I won't, but people just recite these numbers of win probability. I'd just like to know what we're basing it on. But if the analytics department for Duke stops the film at that very moment and says, okay, would you prefer a 62% free throw shooter going to the line down one to shoot a 1-and-1, or Houston has the ball in Cryer's hands and they get to run clock and shoot with potentially no time left, and we would have no ability to answer if they scored? My guess would be you'd prefer the 62% free throw shooter to go to the line to shoot the 1-and-1. Because even if Roberts makes them both, which he did, mammoth free throws. Sam Cassell with the wheelbarrow free throws. You got the ball with 19 seconds to answer. And Duke had that opportunity, and they ran what they've run in those late game close situations, give it to Cooper and make something happen, and he just didn't because he was guarded closely by Roberts. I really believe that's how I see it. I think you'd prefer to have him at the line, even though it was a bad call. Does that make sense to you, or do you disagree?
Yeah, yeah, sure. If you're playing the numbers, yeah, you're playing a chance of you have a chance of the kid missing, and also you're going to get the ball if he makes, right?
Right,
you're
but we also
both sides of the card there.
To be fair, we also just saw Houston in an end-game situation not get a shot off, right? So Duke might say, well, Scott, we did actually just sort of see that, and they didn't get to attempt a shot. I didn't agree with the foul call at the time. I thought Flagg was amazing. He had 27 points. He played like that guy. And when he hit that corner three, I want to say they were up 14, weren't they? I believe that was the biggest lead.
Yeah, I think it was after that when they got it back up to 8.
He might have the corner three might have pushed it to 9. Whatever the case may be, he hit big time buckets and was impactful on both ends of the floor throughout. Just didn't make the shot that for them sadly ends this run. They were an awesome team. Do you benefit from having been pushed by somebody in the last 2 months? I don't know. Maybe. I do think that coming out of the Big 12, where you're in a bunch of those rugged games against teams that are tournament teams, you benefit from that. But I think Duke had an exceptionally talented team. They didn't have a great point guard, and they unfortunately missed a free throw at a key moment. And then there was a call, and a guy made big time shots, and then it turns into holy shit, how'd that happen? And that's kind of where I think everyone was. No one could believe that happened. And so as bad as you feel for Houston after they have their moment, you got to remember that they only got there because another team had a similar moment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think you lose that.
That gets me to giving credit to the teams that did it, because I get it. Everybody the majority of people can't stand Duke, and they're going to say Duke choked. And then I would guess those people have to say Houston choked last night, where I look at, screw that, man. You're in it and you got your back against the wall. You got to give credit to the teams that pulled it out. And Houston did everything. The sharp three on the switch miss.
Incredible.
At the top of the key when they're down 67-61.
That's the play of the game to me, because you know what he did, Steve? In that moment, I'm sorry I interrupted you. That is a frantic time, because you know the clock's ticking, and it's ticking loud in your ear.
You have to have it.
But he had the patience in that moment to head fake, let flag slide by, and get that look, right? Mm-hmm. And then it's a gotta-have-it moment, and they got it.
Yep.
Timeout, then they get the steal, then they get the tip dunk, and now it's on.
Yep.
So you're right. Duke in the moment melts in a way that's going to get remembered. But why'd they melt? Because Houston stood up.
It's from 6-3 into 1 in 3 seconds. It's that fast. And that's what's crazy about the tournament. I'm sitting on the couch by myself watching these games, and I got the DVR. I'll rewind it and then catch up in commercials because there's a million of them. But how long some things feel and then how fast they happen because of playmaking. And I just think that's a credit to the players. I mean, Scott, tell me if I'm wrong, but we go back, I don't even know if it's 5 years. And maybe, what was it, Baylor came out of COVID and won the title there. The ball wasn't great. College hoops wasn't. And then we start to see the older guys go to these bigger teams. And just as a sport, I think this is a huge, because you saw the ball go in the basket at major points. Now it ends with the team not getting a shot off. But for the majority of the tournament, I really thought the ball went in the basket way more than we were accustomed to even 5 years ago. And I give the coaches a lot of credit, man. What these guys are up against. We've talked about the portal being open during the tournament and these guys trying to pursue a championship. But I do think the game has evolutioned to a more offensive set. And I keep going back to Florida when they most needed it, man. They ran offensive sets and got layups and open threes. And that's what this game, that's what you need in a comeback, and that's what they executed. And going back to Houston, I mean, again, that sharp three at 67-61, 15 seconds left. You got to have that three to make it one possession. They get it, and they're off and running to an historic comeback. So I just, again, hats off to Florida and hats off to Houston for getting there. The whole about, there's been, times where people have said the Final Four hasn't been good. The Saturday games haven't been great. This thing had everything, and it's credit to those teams that went there. Because, again, Auburn's going to get lost in the shuffle, and they had as good a season as anyone. There's
a lot that's, I think, explains why what you just mentioned that I agree with. You see the ball go through the bucket more. You've got guys that stick around and guys that bounce from one place to another. It's a combination. There is an upside to this portal and NIL era in that guys can make money and they can move from spot to spot, which is how you get an Elijah Martin and also a extra year from COVID. So you get a 50-year guy in Elijah Martin who goes from FAU to Florida and is that guy. You get Richard, who started at Belmont, ends up there. Mm-hmm. You get Clayton, who started at Iona, who I think he was in his 5th year as well. Mm-hmm. You got a 6th-year guy in Juwan Roberts, and you've got adults. You've got some capable grown men out there. And I saw the point that was made that there were no 5-stars on the floor, and that's fine. But anymore, most 5-star guys tend to show up. Not most, I shouldn't say that. Many show up and go Cooper Flag. One awesome year, and then that's it. But for the lesser thans, from the recruiting standpoint, you could stay, you can benefit from being able to make money, you can benefit from being able to get educated, and you can benefit from getting better in good programs. And so both teams that we saw, Cryer won a title with Baylor. Mm-hmm. So he's been around for a while. So I think that's a big part of it as well, that they're very more than just competent, but really good college players can stay now, make money, go to places where they can be impact guys, and it all adds up pretty nicely.
Look, I hate to bring it up, but look at your team in the last 12 months. Like,
we couldn't make a shot.
Put the ball in the basket, and he did a great job of getting guys that could do it. I hate to go back to it.
No, it's okay. Look,
they're a perfect example of
no doubt
how you could do it.
No doubt. Maryland defensively 2 years ago was really good, but they struggled mightily to make baskets, and they went out in the portal and they found, Selton Miguel made shots, came from South Florida. Rodney Rice really hadn't played because he'd been injured, made buckets. Obviously, Jacoby made a ton of shots as well. And because this is the era, well, also the coach left, but, Miguel reached the end of his eligibility, but don't know where Rice is going to go. Jacoby got a ton of money to go to Tennessee, and Tennessee fans will enjoy him putting the bucket in for them, ball in the bucket for them next year. But, yeah, we're one of the many examples.
Example A1.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Couldn't have been a more different year just in terms of consuming, watching them play.
And it was again, I just want to say, against the coaches, and everybody has their bad stories about it, but there are guys doing incredible work. And, where are they getting paid a ton? Yeah, they're getting paid pretty well. But there's ways they have changed. And I think that's a hard thing to do for coaches, but they've made it for the better, and it's in a way better place than it was. I guarantee that.
I signed up for 60 today. Got stuff to do, got work to do. So let's dive into where we are, which is the Masters. Favorite week of the year for work. It was a rain out Monday, which is such a bummer because for the folks that had their chance to come out and didn't get to come out, you're going to get a refund and you'll get a chance to buy tickets for next year, but it's just nothing they can do. Sun's out. It is perfect, and it should be for the remainder of the week. And it's interesting because most players have a pretty regimented approach to how they want to. All right, I'm going to come play 9 Monday. I'm going to work on some short game, this and that. Monday's out. So now all of a sudden, and this is not problems you and I had when it came to, say, studying for finals. If I had the final Thursday, I'd crack the spine of that book Wednesday night and say, let me get familiar with the subject matter. Most folks that are trying to win a green jacket have been hard at work leading up to it. But when you lose a day, that's kind of an interesting, significant chunk of time to prepare, particularly because this golf course it looks a little different. And I wonder how it plays different as a result of Hurricane Helene, which came through here, and it really significantly impacted the town of Augusta, which is far more important than the golf course. But as it relates to the golf course, I don't know how things are different. Is there a tree you used to aim at that's now gone? Like, guys are just going to just have to familiarize themselves with a place that they're intimately familiar with that is different this year. That'll be something to keep an eye on as we get going. But, I mean, there's familiar list of people. It starts with Scheffler. I picked Rory this week. Yeah, I see Steve's head perked up. Last year I picked Scotty because I said I'm going to feel like an idiot on Sunday when he's leading and I don't have him. That was really my reason. And I'll feel dumb if it's not Rory this year for just allowing myself to just cosmically believe the fact that there's a time for people. And I just think this is his time.
Wow.
Guy won the Players.
Listen.
The guys, it's a combination of form and preparing and understanding what you need to do. And just, I say it's his time.
All right. I been reading a lot. And obviously he's the name because of the Players and all that. And I can't get out of my head that Open Championship 2 years ago against
Cam Smith caught him.
Like, you want to talk about getting better mentally? I think he needs that. And if it happened, because that would be career, right?
Yes, and that's the thing that makes it heavier, because Jordan Spieth has won here, he's won the Open, and he's won the U.S. Open, which means when he goes to Quail Hollow, he will be trying to complete the career slam. But because the PGA moves venues every year, he goes some new place every year where it's a new riddle to solve. And he's not asked the same question that he was asked last year. Or if he is, at least it's in a different place, so it doesn't feel the same. Rory, for the remainder of his career, until he wins it, which he might not do, will be asked, so Rory, is this the year?
Yeah. Oh, man.
And the analogy I said with Russillo is it's like, imagine just putting like a little pebble on the scale every year. It's not a lot each year, but after 5 years, the weight of each pebble starts to get heavier. And then after a decade, now the scale, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And as time ticks louder in your ear, those pebbles become larger because you realize that there's only so many chances you get when you're this guy to do that thing you need to do. All of that said, he's really fucking good at this sport.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I say it's his time.
How many years ago was the U.S. Open here at Congressional?
When he
rolled?
won?
Yeah.
I want to say 13. I could be wrong.
Like
I'll look it up. I'll look it up.
I got sucked in because I was like, oh my God, if he did this at that place and, winning by that in the U.S. Open. Now, I wasn't the golf guy I am now, and people were talking about condition.
Insider.
It wasn't
2011. See, that's how time gets you.
That's in
11.
I'll admit I've wanted more from him since then, and I'm sure he's at the top of the list.
you think you want more from him? Yeah.
So I think it's fascinating. I'm really interested in seeing Scotty just in this setting. I really want to see what the live guys bring to the table. There's guys that have had success here in years past, but another year of – because I constantly think about those guys because you only know how you're testing yourself, right? I mean, they are off. I haven't watched a live event since it started, and I'll see the scores and you see clips, but like day in and day out of the PGA Tour, and as opposed to being away, like I really wonder, like those guys, like you really got to press yourself. You know what it takes to be successful here, and I think it's a big deal because it's only getting more magnified. Right?
Yeah, no, there's no doubt, and I thought about that because, I mean, look, Liv's got some heavyweights.
Yeah.
DeChambeau, Rahm, Koepka, Neiman, tremendous player. Tyrrell Hatton's a really good player. I mean, they got more than I'm naming, but just in terms of guys who have, like, Rahm won here a couple of years ago. DeChambeau won the U.S. Open last year. Koepka's as good as there is when it matters most. Like, and there is that piece of it where people that like golf like the sport, and so they tend to find it. But I think people have stopped getting mad about, like, if you say I haven't seen Live, that it's some knock against the tour. Like, shit, the PGA Tour and the Live they're going to figure something out here. Mm-hmm. It's just, and they do have the deal on Fox where it's easier to find, but I don't know people that consume that tour's coverage. Yeah. I just don't. And I don't hear people ever talking about who won those events. I just don't. And it's not a value judgment. It's just, I don't intersect with it. Mm-hmm. But we're gonna this week, which is great because there's so many good players from there. And I mean, it's probably props about like how many guys finish in the top 20 or top 10 from the Live, and it'll be a bunch because there's a bunch of really good players from there. And it's awesome that they're all here together. Our guy Gordo, I know, is grinding.
Mm-hmm.
What's his Twitter handle?
Gordo tweets.
I'm sure there'll be some hammers and double hammers. Keep an eye on that.
DGord_tweets.
There you
Follow
go.
him. They'll be all released tomorrow.
What's today? Tuesday? We're speaking on a Tuesday. So Wednesday the card will be released.
I think he's he's almost at 30 interests that he has out there. So that'll be a full.
Gordo will be with me helping provide stats and information as I'm in the Butler cabin Thursday and Friday. And I asked him, "Where are we going?" And he gave me, I think, pre-Butler cabin. He said he was going to go Skull long cut in the mezzanine, as he said. Just hunkering down and just grinding out just these majors, I know how much you've come to love them, and I love how much you love it because I've lived it for so many years. And I mean, 97 is the first year I come here, and it's just outrageous. It's been that long. But what's incredible about this place and why I love it so much for all the different reasons of the obvious, but it's the friendships and the relationships that you get to revisit. I have not seen my dear friend Miss Nadine in security. I got to go find her, get that hug. Yesterday in the rain, nobody saw anybody. Go into the spot where you can grab a sandwich. I've been ordering the same thing. It's not on the menu. Whoa. And I sat down and television Steve Sands, Justin Thomas, we had a nice catch up on things. JT, by the way, no media session. That's fine with him. Just happy to right down here off the radar. He shot some low numbers.
Wow.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
Some low numbers from JT. What did he shoot? 62 at Sawgrass? Tied the course record? I say nothing. Anyway, waitress came up. I'm sorry?
How's the house?
I'll get to that.
Okay.
Waitress came up. She's like, I don't need your order. I know what it is.
Oh.
I'm just some schlub, and they know your order.
28 years.
Grilled cheese and bacon, baby. And then my guy Tony comes over. He's like, "Whoa, I think I messed up. We put some tomato on." I'm like, "No, that's an occasional ad. No issue. There'll be no complaining here. Thank you very much." Special spot. The house is. I would use this reference with you, but you wouldn't understand it because you're not a. Well, if I say it's like a Wes Anderson film, do you understand what that means?
No chance. Okay.
See, that's weird because you know all these TV shows, but the people, I want you to think about, because I just saw a trailer for a new Wes Anderson movie that's coming out, and it's like that. It's just an unusual sort of, there's some, I'm just going to say it's unusual. It's fine. Darlington's here. One night I said, "Hey, we're going to get weird." He's like, "Yeah." Darlington's new. He's just so excited to be here, and he's the best. So we're gonna see what's where the nights take us. Guess where it's gonna take us? To sleep.
Yeah, to the house.
I'm washed. There's no getting weird. It's just fun to say.
Just watched his piece he did on what was it? Compost?
Yeah.
Holy hell, is that heavy?
Yeah, man. Check it out.
That thing is find Darlington on Twitter. I know he tweeted out and it's on Instagram, whatever. Get some tissues when you're watching that one. That thing, I mean, everybody, is going to be biased towards their best stories, and I'll be diving in. But that story about him getting his chance to play here and how he did it is just incredible.
It really is.
And shout out to his family for being along for the ride. What's the temp in that? Who controls the thermostat? North?
It's fine. We're good. Our facility here, tremendous accommodations thanks to Augusta National. Someone, I think it was Quater, the boss of the whole joint. I think he was in charge yesterday because this guy walks around in a winter coat at all times. It was like 53 degrees in here yesterday, which is absolutely unacceptable. We're good. The house temp's nice.
Okay. Because I found a reason that I might be needed down there for you.
Which is
Taurasi coming at you?
No, we're good.
What's all that about?
I think she's just having some fun.
She taking some shots at my guy.
She said they're not here, like Maryland's not here.
Yeah. Then she was like, "I'll be there. Come find me." I was like, "Wow."
Well, hey, D, I'm really easy to spot. You hear me? I'm the 6'6" ball guy in the suit, walking around in the middle of. No, I think we were just. Well, I said it when we brought her on. I said, "Hey, like last year, you and me managed to piss off an entire state. I think they're still mad at us. Let's try to keep it between the mustard and the mayonnaise here." So I don't know. Like, I wasn't saying it was her fault. I mean, we combined to piss off an entire state. But I think me and D are good.
All right, real quick on the women's tournament, Gino. 12.
Doesn't
real. I do want to say one of the worst decisions in the history of NCAA sports, making UConn a 2 seed. That was a joke, Scott. A joke. They were a 7.5 point favorite in the national title game. They were a 7.5 point game favorite against the 1 seed in the overall tournament. Yeah. And UCLA in the Final Four.
They covered easy against both.
I mean, what are we doing there? Let's fix some things or ask some more people. I mean, Gino already went at you about this pod system and the regionals. Like, we gotta get some change going on over there, because that was an absolute joke making UConn a 2 seed. And you saw Lindsay Gottlieb's comments when the brackets came out, and she knew why. But that was really bad.
I go back to a text from early February I sent to Gino, and I said, I love your team for March. He said, people have a memory like a housefly. They don't remember Fudd. She's an assassin. And his text to me is, I love where we're going to be. He knew.
Yeah.
But I don't think even he, in his understanding of what teams are and how they are fluid and they evolve, and you can get better and you can get worse. There's no guarantee. I don't think even in his very seasoned mind of understanding what teams are, knew that they'd become that they'd get sort of the best version of Strong, the best version of Fudd, and then Becker's just being Becker. And then all the other associated people.
Oh, they were awesome.
I mean, they boat raced 2 1 seeds. Like it was nothing.
Committee, what are we doing there?
Yeah, but okay. So if they're a 1, how you're just going to play them with a different number next to their name?
They should be a 1.
I agree.
Like, they beat South Carolina by 30.
I understand, but so if they were a 1, then they would have still played a 1. Like, it wouldn't have made any difference.
Understood, but just the fact that they were a 2 seed is a joke.
Figure it out is what you're saying.
Correct.
That's fair. You got a pick for this week? You got somebody you like, Steve?
I like Morikawa.
So do I. There's the one, and it's not a grave concern. It's just much like winning 6 basketball games in a row is hard to do. Like winning golf tournaments is hard to do. But he's been really close, and he's led on Sundays in events where he has not closed. And this is a guy who, by the way, if he wins here, will need just one more for the Slam, which is he'll need the U.S. Open, and he'll be. And I believe he is a Grand Slam winner because his iron game, which is what you have to be here, got to hit it firm. Everyone knows that, especially golf insider Stanford Steve. He absolutely has the game to win here. I just it's a concern when you've been close and it hadn't happened, because all you got is yourself in a long ass walk for 5 hours on a Sunday to get to 18. And it's a lot. I say that just having observed. Obviously, I haven't lived it. Although I did win at Dingle last year. No big deal.
No big deal.
Morikawa's on the list for sure.
I thought Xander was fascinating talking yesterday about putting and how you need to putt, obviously. And he made that analogy of, I've been out there where I'm holding the rope and I can't keep a grip of the rope. Like, I really, like, that hit, like, you could totally see that. But, yeah, I hope he plays well, obviously knowing the struggles he's had coming back from injury. But, I mean, all the cards are on the table. Am I nuts to think Phil will be the best live golfer?
Ooh, I think you are nuts, because I think all of them are going to play well. I like Rahm. I like DeChambeau. I like Neiman. I like Koepka. Okay. I mean, there's a thing. There's a thing.
Top 20.
Could certainly happen.
Give me that.
And there's a thing here, like Freddie, for years after 50, even early 60s, you come here and you know what to do and you know how to do it, and you do. And Phil finished like second a couple years ago. So I'm not saying I don't think that I agree that he'll play well. I just think that there are a long list of guys from Live that will play well here also. So Phil playing well. What are you taking a nibble? Make the cut?
No, top 20.
That's my favorite thing. Although this new thing where shops.
Yeah, what are we doing? What's that?
You tie for 17th and you split it? What kind of nonsense is that? Are you paying top 20s or not? Because if you got to finish top 16 to get paid for a top 20, that's not a top 20. Don't.
Oh, I think you're late on this one, bud. It's over.
You bootleg shops out there, you need to stop with the odds. It's hard enough anyway.
That ship has sailed, brother.
Well, get that ship.
No.
Get me the lose.
Every shop's going that way. Everyone.
Well, I have this to say. And
find your own shop.
And given where I am, I'm going to show. I might have cussed earlier, but now I'm just going to say that's bull jive. That's what that is. That's some bull jive. Tighten that up. If you're not paying your top 20s, you're a bootleg shop.
What else you got? Anything?
Got work to go do. I signed up for 60, and the clock has hit zeros.
All right, one thing.
You got anything else on the way out? Let me know.
I just want to say shout out to Chris Long and his Waterboys Foundation. Kenny Mayne was the MC. Weekend with Kenny Mayne, like old times, unbelievable. But Chris raising millions of dollars for those Wells, Tanzania, the whole deal. Was a treat to be along with him and his crew. He does an unbelievable job. And Kenny was the MC, and he's at this auction, and it's mayhem. There's thousands of people up there. And he gets up there, and it's loud, and it's hard to hear. And he gets up there, and he says, if you're an active listener, raise your hand. No one's paying attention. No one is paying attention.
I'll just say, having been in those rooms, when it's hard to get attention, what you need to do is at some point you need to just shame somebody. Mm-hmm. You need to shame some person that feels like the leader. He did. Then if you can shame the leader that's leading the uprising, that's not actively listening, then you'll kind of get the room.
Yeah, he for sure did that. And I just want to give a note. I think you could join me on this one.
Uh-huh.
Just because we're employed at ESPN, we don't get free tickets to every single event. Can you?
Who wants what?
No, it's just everything. Whatever. Final Four, Masters, Super Bowl. Like, people come at you and you're like, "Hey, you got tickets?" I'm like, "What? Do you think we have a ticket tree in Bristol and you get the draft or something?" I don't understand that idea. Are you with me?
Thank you. We work for ESPN. We're just a little cable outfit trying our best up there in Bristol and, in our case, DC. We're not ticket brokers. We don't have, what do you think? I got a briefcase full? What do you need? You need 4 for the A's?
Yeah, exactly.
No, hold on. I got a dozen San Jose Sharks. I can get you a suite for the Ottawa Senators game. I am fresh out for the Masters. I can hook you up down at Harbor Town next week. Leave us alone. I mean, it is outrageous that people they really just think we have tickets in our pocket, or that we could call someone that will give us tickets to then give to them. It's an outrageous ask.
Yeah.
Stop doing it. And if your family and friends, really stop doing it. Pull yourself together. And this week in particular, hey, could you get... No. See you on Wednesday for the par 3, 2 Eastern, noon on Plus, Thursday and Friday from Butler Cabin. Love to see you, but you want to see me, you're probably going to have to go that route.
Hey, now.
I will say, though, if you love sports, there's you can get here. It's not you can go lottery and you can buy it. You can find a ticket broker whose job it is to have tickets. It's not cheap.
Blame him.
But it's worth it.
Or her.
It's worth it. Nothing will exceed your expectations more than what you think this place is than when you come here and you see it. And you'll go, oh, it's that good. Yes, it is. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go make my way out into the good. Yes, Steve?
Put your tie on, and just so you know, the A's play at home again tonight.
If you need tickets, call somebody in Sacramento. We'll see you on the tube from the Masters. Enjoy your week. We'll see you on the other side.